Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soundbyte. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to be jumping into a bit of Led Zeppelin, going back to their, I guess it's their second album, Led Zeppelin II, which is released in 1969. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know a whole lot about like the back catalog of Led Zeppelin. I just know bits and pieces of the band and some of their more sort of popular songs and stuff. Never really did a deep dive into the band for whatever reason, even though I do like the stuff that I have heard. But for some particular reason, I've never sort of like invested a lot of time in listening to all their stuff. So a lot of the stuff that I might be checking out on this channel for Led Zeppelin might actually be just a first time reaction. Some of them might have just forgotten, or some of it I haven't listened to in a really long time. Um, but this one has been a suggestion from a Claveworks who suggested Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. Now, I've definitely heard of the song. I'm sure that I've probably heard the song itself, but I do not remember. But I guess we'll find out in a minute. So let's check it out. Led Zeppelin with Ramble On off their Led Zeppelin II album 1969. So we're going kind of way back here. And one of the bands who obviously became a gigantic, huge influence on so many different bands, and sort of going back to our Black Sabbath stuff as well. There's been that debate of like who started heavy metal, and I know Zeppelin's been sort of thrown into the mix, you know. A lot of people will probably disagree with that. I kind of disagree with that. I kind of feel like Black Sabbath really were the first heavy metal band. But there's no denying Zeppelin's influence for sure. Whether they had an influence on heavy metal is another story. I guess they probably did. I mean, you got to think of like all of our favorite bands, you know, from the sort of 80s and 90s who definitely grew up listening to Led Zeppelin. So there's definitely that huge influence on their music as well. So, but let's get into it with Ramble On by Led Zeppelin.
Leaves are falling all around. Time I was on my way. Thanks to you, I'm much obliged for such a pleasant stay. But now it's time for me to go. The autumn moonlight's my way. But now I smell the rain, and with it pain, and it's heading my way. Sometimes I grow so tired, but I know I've got one thing I got to do. Ramble on. Now the time is now. Sing my song. I'm going round the world. I gotta find my girl on my way. This way, 10 years to the day. Ramble on. I'm the queen of all my dreams. Got no time.
Okay, yeah, definitely vaguely familiar. Didn't recognize it initially, but that I guess that chorus part there, I definitely I've heard that before. So but it's not really a song that I'm super familiar with. It's not like, you know, some of their other kind of more bigger hits, I guess. I don't know if this was a big hit or not. I'm just not familiar with it in that term. But it sounds all right. It sounds very Led Zeppelin-y. I guess they got their own signature trademark sound as well. I definitely found with a lot of the stuff that I have heard from Led Zeppelin, especially the bigger hits. Surprisingly, there's a lot of mellow stuff going on there, even though they're kind of known as this sort of like, you know, big rock and roll sort of band. But they've got a surprisingly lot of mellow tracks. You think of like, you know, bands of that era, like your Sabbath and your Deep Purples and stuff, and they've definitely got more of a rock edge to it, you know. So it's surprising to sort of see Led Zeppelin kind of be on the more mellower side of things. Could be wrong, just could maybe that's just the songs that I've heard. Maybe there's just this far more highly energized songs, you know. But that's just what I've sort of gathered over the years about Led Zeppelin, at least the stuff that I've heard anyway, you know. So
The time has come to be gone. to ramble on. Ramble on, and now the town is now. Sing my song. I'm coming round the world. I gotta find my girl on my way. I've been this way 10 years to the day. I gotta ramble on. I gotta find the queen of all my dreams. I tell you no lie. Mine's a tale that can't be told. My freedom I hold dear. How years ago, in days of old, when magic filled the air, just in the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair. But Gollum, the evil one, crept up and slipped away with yeah.
It's definitely more of a vocal oriented song as well. I feel kind of reminds me of Black from Pearl Jam actually. um, but obviously Robert Plant kind of takes the bull by the horns here and kind of does his thing. But it's funny how like the bass is again very prominent here, and I've mentioned this before on the some of the Sabbath videos. Like it's just a thing from like this era of music where the recording again comes down to probably just that sort of analog warmer sort of sound, I guess. I kind of still feel it's just the musicians as well and the instruments they're using. That kind of plays a big part of it as well. I think, it's just crystal clear. Like the bass is really prominent here that you just don't hear as much on like later stuff. Maybe that's just the nature of the music as well. This is a bit of a mellower song, so you kind of will hear distinctively more of the instruments that are going on, because you do hear like everything that's happening at the same time, all the guitar parts and whatever that thing is in the background, that sort of little percussion sort of thing that's happening it as well. But yeah, it's definitely still got that Led Zeppelin, but a lot of that is also Robert Plant. I think his voice is kind of just synonymous with like Led Zeppelin's signature sound.
I ain't nothing I can do now. I guess I'll keep on rambling. I'm gonna sing my song. I gotta find my baby. I'm gonna ramble on, sing my song, gonna work my way around the world, baby. Ramble on, yeah. Do my baby. Ramble on, baby. Do. I can't stop this feeling in my heart. Every time I think I got the power. I gotta keep searching for my baby.
I like how all the vocals are kind of like swirling around a bit. I see we've got another fade out here as well, which is something that I've talked about in previous videos, how that's not really much of a thing these days. It was sort of, back then. Yeah, it's interesting how I do wonder about the fade out thing. Like, why was that a thing back then? Because, like I said before, is that because there was just the guys didn't have an ending to it, or is that just a creative thing? Like, was it just a thing to do to fade out a song? Was that like a cool idea? I'm sure maybe it's a bit of both. I guess I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons as to why bands not ramble on, but their bands fade songs out. Maybe it was also just a thing, like people just thought it was a cool thing to do. So, but there you go, Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. Thank you to Claveworks for making that suggestion. And yeah, like I said, I'm not super familiar with a lot of their stuff, so I'm happy to sort of check out more Zeppelin stuff. So any suggestions is more than welcome. Please bring it on, and let's try to get familiarized with Led Zeppelin, because it's one of those bands that kind of just like I said before about Judas Priest, for example, was just one of the ones that I just kind of floated by a little bit, and I was kind of the band were there, but then I heard songs here and there just by passing through and stuff, but I never really sort of did a deep dive into any of their back catalog at all. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in as always. Please subscribe if you haven't, and thank you to those who have subscribed. We're slowly getting up there, and hopefully we'll continue this journey together. So, check out all our social media links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.